Bertong kunat!
Dahil yung gagol!
Ano tong balitang pinagkakalat mo dito sa balwate ko, ha?
Anong balita?
Huwag ka na magmaang-maangan pa!
Ayun ba? Ha? Hindi ba totoo naman? Nasabi ang lunas sa COVID. Alam mo ba kung nasa nabal ka ba yun? Nasa naga talaga yun. At higit sa lahat, fake news talaga yung ads sa revolution.
Ungas ka ba? Ano ba pinagsasabi mo? Saan mo pinagkukuha yan?
Huh, syempre, nag-research ako, no? Sa Tuktuk University. Palibasa kasi umugot ka na at laos, kaya hindi mo alam yun. Ano, ha?
Lord naman! Magpaulan ka naman ng katalinuhan!
Reliable source of information, sari-saring content na isinulat ng mga eksperto, mga librong di kalidad na abot hanggang sa doomsday, tumawag ka lang sa akin. By the way, hindi ako si Lord. Ako si Vimal.
O pre, tingnan mo to. Di ba sabi ko sa'yo totoong EDSA Revolution?
Oo nga, no? O tapos ito, wala pala talaga sa Naga ang bulkang mayon.
Sabi ko sa'yo eh.
Hi everyone! May hinahanap kami.
Naghahanap kami ng bagong teacher, Bibal.
Kailangan namin ng mga bibong guro na mahilig makipag-interact at hindi camera shy.
Game na game din sa challenges para mas maging fun and fantastic ang learning experience ng mga bata.
Kaya kung ikaw ay isang licensed professional teacher and with pleasing personality, we want you!
Mag-upload lamang ng inyong pinaka-creative na TikTok video. Pwede ninyong i-promote ang inyong city or hometown o i-discuss ang paborito ninyong lesson na makikita sa alinmang Bibal textbooks. Huwag kalimutang itag o isama sa caption ang @TikTok Paaralan at ang hashtag na #TeacherBibal.
Madali lang, di ba? At kahit na ano pa ang edad, kasarian o lahing pinanggalingan, welcome na welcome kayong sumali!
Kaya don't miss the chance! Samahan kami sa mas exciting new season ng Teacher Bibal.
Hihintayin namin kayo!
Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our YouTube Live. For the discussion today, the topic will be on developing students' writing skills in the 21st century. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you're registered to the webinar to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.wibalgroup.com or eturo.org to generate your proof of attendance. Place your questions on the comment box allotted during the session, and they will be addressed by our speaker later on. Share the video using #LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal. And now, to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Mr. Rubio is an assistant professor from National University Manila, where he teaches purposive communication, advanced communication, and BS Ed English specialization courses. He holds the degree Master of Arts in Education major in English with academic distinction in 2020 and Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, Best in Student Research and Best in Practice Teaching from Sacred Heart College of Lucena City, Incorporated. He also served as a content creator and consultant of learning modules in English in-depth at Region 4A Calabarzon in 2020 to 2021. He has presented at various national and international research conferences in English, applied linguistics, literature, and English language teaching. He has done several research papers on discourse analysis and social linguistics. His research in His research interest focuses on world Englishes, social linguistics, political linguistics, forensic linguistics, stylistics, literature education and teaching, and discourse studies. Currently, he is pursuing his Doctor of Philosophy in English Language Studies at the Pontifical and Royal University of Santo Tomas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Leroy Christian Q. Rubio.
Thank you so much, Miss Venice, for that warm introduction. Again, a pleasant afternoon to everyone, and allow me to share my screen. So for this afternoon, I will be talking about developing students' writing skills in the 21st century. So again, I am Liray Christian Q. Rubio, and welcome to my presentation. So let's talk about first about writing skills. Writing skills are actually qualities that enable authors to put, let not just say authors, but just students, teachers, or anyone to put their ideas into words in a meaningful way and to somehow comprehend each and everyone's message. So various linguists, researchers, and practitioners of the English language studies provide varied explanations for various definitions of writing. So in my years of experience as a college instructor, students tend to complain actually on how difficult it is to construct their own essay. Students find it hard to conceptualize, chunk, and put down their ideas into writing because we don't know, maybe their exposure to writing is not that good way back in their elementary and high school days. So writing skills are essential for effective communication. We all know that. And good writing skills enables us to convey our idea to a far broader audience with clarity and ease than by face-to-face conversations. I think many of us would agree to that, right? Like you can't say it out loud, then write it. You're too shy, write it. You feel awkward about the situation, then write it. However, the problem now is, or the major problem that we experience right now, is how will our students write? And what will they write? So if ideas, concepts, and emotions and feelings are all jumbled up in their heads, then it is indeed difficult for them to start writing. They will start to ask, how will I write? So that is the major question that we have for this afternoon. How will the students write? So allow me now to share with you a study by Saavedra and Barredo in 2020. They arrived at 5 main factors that contribute to the poor writing skills in Filipino and English of elementary students. So there are 5 main factors. Let's talk about them one by one. So the first one is the lack of vocabulary in the target language. So whatever language it may be English, Filipino, Cebuano, Bicolano, and so on, students lack vocabulary. There are many sub-factors that may arise why students lack vocabulary. Like we can say that they may not be exposed, or there is lack of exposure to reading materials for let's say they live in far-flung areas, they don't have access to quality materials, their place is too too far from the city. Therefore, books, resources cannot easily go to their place. And these schools are, we can say, they are hard to reach schools. And schools in the mountains, schools across rivers, tawid dagat, tatawid ng sapa, and so on. It's difficult for many non-government organizations, difficult for LGUs, difficult for other agencies to bring materials in their area. So, for example, if that is not the problem, another issue may be there might be or there may have quality materials, but it's not that of quality. The quality of the reading materials being produced are not that good and not suited for the students themselves. So vocabulary development may also not be emphasized in teaching, because right now they might have been focusing on structure and grammar, but vocabulary is being left behind. And most especially, why I think vocabulary is an issue is because students doesn't really have that exposure to the target language. They are not exposed to the usage of the English language in day-to-day conversations. There is less mastery when it comes to the usage of the language itself. So that's one factor. The second factor, I think, they mentioned rather, is the difficulty in conveying and organizing ideas. So there are instances that students are not familiar with the topic that they have to write. They lack readings, they lack resources. They simply do not know how to organize ideas. So two problems: difficulty in organizing ideas, and the second one is they do not know where to start because they do not know the topic at all. So there are also instances that the student cannot concentrate, because we also have to consider environmental factors, like is the place where the student is writing conducive? Is it suitable? Is it too noisy? Is it quiet? So is the student free from distraction? So that is one factor. The second one is the student perceived writing as a hard task. They immediately think of, when they hear the word writing, ay mahirap, hindi ko kayang gawin. So many teachers would agree, right? When we ask our students to write, "Sir, ma'am, how many words?" When you say 300 words, 200 words, "Ma'am, it's so difficult. Mahirap po." They try to bargain, right? They try to bargain. Can it be 100? Can it be 150? Because we do not know what to write. So another issue that may arise in this factor is that the former teachers may fail to introduce writing as something that can be done by the students in their leisure time. And the students at first, they were first exposed to writing as a mere requirement, not for recreational activities. Kasi when we introduce an activity to a student, we introduce it to them as if they are playing, as if they are having fun, not as if it's a requirement to them. So even me, myself, I am teaching in the collegiate level. Every time I give activities to my students, whether writing or not, I am introducing it to them as if we're just playing a game, as if it's just for their pastime, no pressure, no rush. And in my years of experience teaching, nakita ko talaga that positive results are being shown by the students when it comes to the submission of their activities. Mas quality and hindi minadali. So maybe the students are a bit pressured on writing that they have to finish this one. I can still remember when I was still in elementary, um, excuse me, we were asked to write a paragraph or an informal theme, and we're just given 30 minutes to write a 150 to 200 word essay about that one. And for me, I'm a bit stressed out during that time because it's difficult on my part. I haven't thought of the idea, I haven't thought of the topic. So how will I start writing? So the only reason for me to finish that 150 word essay is just by simply rushing things out, kung ano na lang ilalagay. So the quality hindi na siya nagiging maganda. The next one is the lack of motivation and interest in writing. So there are instances wherein students do not like the topic at all. The topics which the teachers give to them, which the teachers ask them to write about. There are instances that students lack knowledge on the topics that the teacher gives, as what I have mentioned earlier. Ano, to our teachers out there listening in this presentation, I know you're all familiar with the Sulating Pangwakas and formal themes. Nabanggit ko kanina. And the topics that were given by the teachers, we were never given topics na you choose a topic, anything under the sun. I just experienced that when I was in college, when my professors would ask us to write something or anything under the sun. In elementary, no. In elementary and in high school, no. They would give us a topic to write about. So let's say my summer vacation, right? Your favorite food, your favorite sport, your favorite hobby. So those are the most common topics that the teachers give to their students. So the question is, do the students want to talk about those kind of topics? Do they have a sport? Not all students are engaged in sports. So what if the pastime of the student is just watching TV? How will they write a 150 to 200 word essay about watching TV? So the topic is very limited. Students nowadays in the 21st century are more open and aware. So later on, we'll be digging deeper on that particular concept. But right now, we need to understand that students are exposed to different kinds of media at this point in time. And we need to do something. Kailangan natin silang sabayan in order for us to get their kiliti and to get their attention. And lastly, difficulty in spelling, grammar, and sentence construction. So all of us know how difficult it is to learn and master grammar. So even English teachers, as an English teacher myself, I find it hard to master all the rules and structure since language changes from time to time. It is difficult to master the subject and verb agreement. It's difficult to master the different punctuation marks, when to include this, when to include that. English majors are having a hard time with that one. There are few people who already mastered those, pero there's still a large number of people who haven't mastered the English language. So mahirap. So what do we expect, di ba? What do we expect from our students? So we need to guide them, di ba? So actually, there is a similar study with this one which pointed out that problems with grammar, punctuation, lexical choice, and the like have a negative impact on the content of a text. So additionally, this study indicated that writing was a complicated skill to develop since it implied the use of mental processes rather than structures of the language only. Because we more on focus on the correctness of the grammar rather than the student's expression of thoughts and ideas. So what do we do now? As teachers, what do we do now? What can we do as an alternative, or what can we do as a solution in addressing these things with our students? The question now is, how do we help our students organize their ideas? So I will be showing with you different techniques and strategies that were conceptualized. Some of these strategies are being used for quite some time now. They're being used for quite some time, and siguro refresher na lang din na why not we consider using this again. Okay? The first one is the color coding technique. So as we can see, this is the color coding technique wherein we assign color codes to the different parts of an essay. So for example, we have blue for the main idea, yellow for the detail, green for the explanation, and orange for the wrapping up. So what we do here is we ask the student to write an essay, and then we let them highlight alin dyan yung main idea. Can you look for the main idea? O you color it blue. Where is the detail? You color it yellow, and so on and so forth. So there is a study with regards to the color coding technique. It was conducted by Rizky in 2018. So it's the effects of color coding strategy in students writing. And for your information, this showed positive results in the development of writing skills, whereas applied the technique, it revealed a positively high difference to the conventional strategy, yung typical na magpapasulat ka lang ng essay. So the student really learned from this one kasi we're already hitting two birds with one stone. We're helping them, we're teaching them how to write, and we're already introducing to them the basic parts of an essay. 'Di ba? So kailangan may main idea, kailangan may supporting details, and so on and so forth. Another study about this one is by Gagel in 2014, whereas he mentioned that introducing a color-coded formulaic writing system gives students the comfort and structure in their writing. It gives them a frame and a purpose, which a blank page with a prompt does not give them. So first, introducing color allows students to connect with prior knowledge of something they're already mastered at, identifying colors. So they know their colors, and most kids are mastered at allowing colors to symbolize a meaning. So since elementary students, when we ask them, okay, we assign this color to this part, we assign this color to that part, you have assigned different colors in the different parts of the essay. We help them, further understand on how they will write their own, kasi we can use this color coding if for example the teacher will also be giving an exemplar, an example of an essay, and then he or she will be highlighting the different parts of the essay using this colored markers, then mas madali for the students to identify the structure of each code or each of each part. All right. So see, so here is another example, a short writing lang to from the students. So color coding paragraph structure gets the students to visually check for missing parts in their paragraph. Maganda siya kasi when we ask the student, okay, you write your essay, and then after writing the essay, You then identify the parts. You give them the markers. Okay, highlight the parts. Alin ang kulang? Ay, okay, teacher. Kulang pa pala doon. So, he or she will be adding details to the essay. Okay? So, it's easier for them. It's easier for them to provide a lot of reasons but did not take time to explain them. And it's much easier and it's much colorful. Mas pleasing siya sa mata, right? Than using plain red markers or green markers dun sa students natin. Kasi usually when we check the papers of our students, we use the color red before, but we changed it now. We changed it to green, hindi ba? Pero parang mas maganda if we use different colors. Lalo na yung mga light sa mata para mas maintindihan ng student kung saan sila pwedeng magdagdag or saan sila nagkulang. So are you saying that this is just for elementary students? No, we can use this one for high school students as well. So different approach naman, pwede tayo mag-start agad ng essay using the color codes, right? If you will be labeling blue for the main idea and then the green for the supporting detail, you may ask the students to work on as a class to construct an essay. O sino magsusulat ng main idea and then you read it. O what could be the supporting detail? It's a collaborative task. It's a combination of all the minds of all the students. So again, it can be used for elementary and for high school students. Okay. Now let's have concept maps. So you're all familiar with concept maps. I think this is one of the common, ako, nagko-concept map ako way back in high school and in college before I construct my essay. I really use concept maps. So concept maps is a powerful study strategy because they help you see the big picture. So by starting with the higher level concepts, concept maps helps you chunk information based on meaningful connections. So in other words, knowing the big picture makes details more significant and easier to remember. So in concept maps, you start with the general topic and then magba-branch out. And then yung bin-branch out mo, there's another branching out, right? When you talk about the environment, you put it on the center and then ano yung comes together with the environment. You say wildlife, you say aquatic resources, you say farming, food, and then branch out again, and then the student will be able to talk about something. Mas madali sa kanya mag-conceptualize ng idea. Hindi magiging magulo. Kasi when we, I know we're all familiar with the basic sentence structure, which is the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Yun yung pinaka-basic, right? So, pwede ka, in the introduction, you may write about the environment, for example, for instance. And then, for the introduction, in the body, it can be divided into 5 different paragraphs. You talk about first yung wildlife, yung ating forest, the first paragraph about the wildlife, and then yung forest, and then yung mga aquatic creatures natin, yung mga fish, yung mga nasa dagat, and after that one, about farming, and then you conclude after that. So mas madali for the students to write their own essay. Mas smooth na yung transition. Hindi ka na magugulo sa mixed up of ideas. Okay? So this is another example of a concept map. So using concept maps in writing significantly enhances students' mastery and recollection of class material. So this is highly recommended by Collins and Nyenwis, just a recent publication last year, 2021, wherein they discuss the advantages of this specific learning technique. and offer suggestions for its incorporation into different institutional settings. So see, even up to until this point, there is a recent study showing the effectiveness of concept maps in teaching writing. So why not we consider to revive it again and use it? Kasi I think mas madadalian yung students natin in using concept maps kasi they're more creative right now. Mas madali sa kanila na mag-isip ng mga branching out, colors, connections. Mas madali sa kanila yan. Very analytical ang kanilang perspective at to this point. So the other one is the usage of graphic organizers. So later on, we'll be able to distinguish the difference between a graphic organizer and a concept map. Pero ngayon, let's talk about the graphic organizer. So graphic organizers help to visualize and construct ideas, organize and or sequence information, plan what to write, increase reading comprehension, brainstorm, organize problems and solutions, compare and contrast ideas, show cause and effect, and more. So, kung ikaw ay isang teacher at gusto mong pagsulatin ng isang student not just an expository essay, gusto mong mapakita a compare and contrast essay or a cause and effect essay, you might want to introduce to the students graphic organizers. Kasi sa graphic organizers, mas focused yung student sa gusto mong ipagawa at ipasulat sa kanila. Kasi naka-label kung ano yung gusto mo or yung gusto ni teacher na ipasulat. So the use of graphic organizers in teaching writing is supported also by the study of Lancaster in 2013, wherein students showed positive results in using graphic organizers in simple essay tasks. So since 21st century learners are very creative and very active, this goes well along with their interest. Pasok na pasok after using the graphic organizers, you let them, ito, kagaya nito, you let them color it. Pakulayan nyo sa kanila. Believe me, yung mga students, mas gusto nila na ganyan. Pero dapat yung approach din, when it comes to it, sa elementary, madali to. Pero pagdating sa high school, siguro dapat yung approach or yung way kung paano natin ipapagawa sa student is yung approach na hindi parang elementary yung treatment natin sa kanila. Okay? So this is another example of a graphic organizer. So the difference between a graphic organizer and a concept map, yung concept map kasi is for brainstorming and organizing. Concept maps sometimes stem out in so many directions that they end up looking really complicated. Yun nga kanina, right? Kung ibabalik natin siya, wala siyang katapusan, wala siyang hanggan. So, malayang makakapag-isip yung student natin sa concept maps where in graphic organizers, ito lang yung gusto kong makita. Ako, si teacher, ito lang yung gusto kong makita. So, I want you to use this one. Gusto ko lang makita 2 main paragraphs lang. Gusto ko lang makita 2 main paragraphs with 2 supporting details for each main ideas. So, yun lang yung ipapagawa natin dun sa student natin. Right? So, ito, kumbaga, limited. Limited yung ideas, yung pag-express ng ideas. However, mas madali for the students to organize yung thoughts niya when it comes to writing. Okay? So, I think this is the last one dun sa mga techniques natin. This is the Hamburger model. The Hamburger model is sort of like a graphic organizer din siya. Para din, it's an example of a graphic organizer. So many teachers use this model since it's more pleasing to the eyes of the students. Kasi nga, hamburger. So ano ba yung gustong kainin ng mga bata, di ba? Usually hamburger, pizza. So hamburger. So the paragraph Hamburger is a writing organizer that visually outlines the key components of a paragraph. So topic sentence, detail sentence, and a closing sentence are the main elements of a good paragraph. And each one form different piece of the hamburger. So makikita natin dito, pwede nating maipakita or maituro dun sa bata for the introduction, ano ba yung texture ng tinapay, right? Ano ba yung texture ng tinapay ng isang hamburger? It can be soft, it can, kumbaga sasabihin ng student na it helps complements yung saltiness ng patty, hindi ba? So, with the help of the supporting details, and yung mga supporting sentences natin, it all comes together. So, mas madaling maintindihan ng bata na, so ang essay pala is a combination, yung smooth transition and combination of all paragraphs and ideas. So, hindi pala siya hiwa-hiwalay. Kasi that is another problem din na nai-encounter ng mga students. Akala nila, dahil hiwa-hiwalay ang introduction, ang body at conclusion, is hindi na sila magkaka-connect. Nahihirapan silang mag-transition from one paragraph to another. So, well, that is another issue. Yung usage ng transitional devices when it comes to writing. Pero they have to understand na itong hamburger na ito, hindi siya magiging masarap without the other. Or we let them think, ano ba yung composition ng hamburger na gusto mo? Ilang egg yung gusto mong ilagay, ilang cheese yung gusto mong ilagay. Would you think doon sa gusto mong hamburger, pag tinanggal natin yung isang egg, magiging masarap pa din? Hindi. So just the same with writing. We let the students understand that part na hindi magiging masarap, hindi magiging maganda ang isang writing kung kulang at kung hindi sila incorporated sa isa't isa. Okay? So this is a 5-paragraph hamburger essay. Like we have the intro, we have the first point paragraph, we have the second point paragraph, we have the third point paragraph, and we have the conclusion. So ayan. So napag-usapan na natin ano yung mga pwede nating gamiting strategy kung paano natin ituturo ang writing or kung paano natin i-introduce ang writing sa ating mga students. Now, pag-usapan naman natin, kilalanin naman natin ngayon, sino nga ba ang students natin? So, our students right now are 21st century learners. So, we have the different characteristics of a 21st century learner. Napakadami niyan. Like we have the 21st century learner is an innovator, a self-directed learner, globally aware, a communicator, a problem solver, a critical thinker, a collaborator, information and media literate, financial and economically literate, civically engaged. So madami. See? Malawak. Ito nga yung sinasabi ko kanina. Napakalawak ng exposure ng mga learners natin when it comes to the society. But of all these characteristics, hindi ko siya kaya ma-discuss agad. Kasi if I will be discussing all of these characteristics of a learner, baka abutin tayo ng 2 hours. So, I would like to emphasize on 5 things. So, the 21st century learner is globally aware. Yun yung una. The second one is the 21st century learner is civically engaged. The third one, the 21st century learner is a critical thinker. And the 21st century learner is information and media literate. And lastly, the 21st century learner is financially and economically literate. So, globally aware, doon sa una, yung mga students natin, they know what is happening in our society. Alam nila yung nangyayari ngayon. They're aware of what's happening in the government. They can see it online. They have access to it. Civically engaged, alam nila kung ano yung mga needs ng society na hindi na ipoprovide ng government, na hindi na po-provide ng ibang organizations, na hindi na po-provide ng schools. Alam nila yan because they can see it with the use of media and technology. They are a critical thinker. They know how to think. Hindi pwede sa mga students natin ngayon ang sagot na, basta. Hindi pwede yun sa kanila because they would ask questions. Magtatanong at magtatanong sila. And this backs up yung information and media literate. Bakit sila ganito? Syempre, with the use of media, with the use of information technology. May internet kasi. Sa ayaw at sa gusto natin, they will face the internet. They will use their social media accounts. They will use Google. They will use Yahoo, different search engines. They will use them all. And lastly, they are financially and economically literate. They know that the peso is bumabagsak na habang tumatagal ang araw. They know that. As a high school student, they know that. They know the cause. Alam nila kung saan nagkukulang na supply ang ating bansa. Alam nila yon. They can see it. So if we will notice, generally, this concludes that our learners are more aware on the issues and concerns of the society. So we are now done with writing topics about their favorite food. Wala na yan. Lipas na yan. Sports, favorite holiday, unforgettable summer vacation. Wala na yan. Ayaw na nila yan. Mas gusto nila pag-usapan yung mga mas malalalim na topic ngayon. Doon sila mas magiging engaged and mas gusto nila na hinihingi ang opinion nila right now. So students are now aware with what is happening in our society, particularly in our country and in other countries for some. So kasi itong yung sinasabi ko kanina, at the very tip of our own fingers, they can access the latest news. They can easily know what's fake and what is not. Most of the time, I think dito sa ating audience who are parents, and if you have children who are already teens or in their early adulthoods, I know there are times that you were called out by your children because you posted a scam online, hindi ba? Mami, daddy, may na-share kang fake news. May na-share kang scam. Pag napindot yan, mahahack yung account mo, baka manghingi ng pera. Nadedetect nila yon, nalalaman nila yon agad. And yung mga adults, they're surprised, 'di ba? I think many of you have encountered that kind of that kind of situation wherein you were called out by your children na, hala, mami, daddy, may na-share kang may na-share kang scam, may na-share kang fake news. Kailangan mong i-delete 'yan. Hindi lang ito tungkol sa politics, but there are a lot of things na mas advanced yung mga students natin. 'Di ba? So right now, students are more advanced. They are technologically advanced compared before. Kasi wala pang technology before eh. Limited lang yung knowledge ng students sa kung ano yung i-feed ni teacher at saka ng kanyang parents. So ngayon, malawak na. Madami na siyang pwedeng pagkuhanan. So ngayon, nalaman na natin yung characteristic ng isang 21st century learner. What can the students write about? So this can go across all subject areas. Pwede natin tong i-integrate sa lahat ng subject areas natin. You're teaching science, you can integrate this one. You teach mathematics, you can also integrate this one. TLE, definitely. Madali. Hindi lang siya exclusive for English and Filipino. So, syempre, ano yung pinakang pwede nilang pag-usapan? The social media. So, children and teenagers use social media to have fun. make and maintain friendships, share interests, explore identities, and develop relationships with family. So it's an extension of their offline and face-to-face interaction. Hindi kayo makakapag-usap face-to-face, we do it online, right? So for older teenagers especially, it's often a key part of how they connect with their friends. They know what is happening around them. So they have their friends, idols, public figures being followed online. So I believe students can talk about this in not just a paragraph. Marami silang masasabi tungkol dito. That's first, social media. Second one is environment. Dahil nga, we go back to their exposure to the first one, which is social media. They can easily know what is happening in the environment, particularly climate change. Alam nila kung nauubos na ba ang ating aquatic resources. Alam nila kung ang ating ozone layer ba ay unti-unti nang nawawala or nasisira. Kasi, why? They are very particular in the world that they will be living in sa mga susunod na taon. Kasi they know na sila yung maiiwan dito. And they will be the one who'll suffer if hindi nila to aalagaan. So, they have a take and they have an opinion with this one. Pagdating sa environment. The other one is politics. Maraming engaged. Madaming students na engaged sa politics. So students can see oil price hikes, kagaya nga no sabi ko kanina, forex exchange, shortages in food and supply, unemployment. May access sila dyan. They can see all of those. So meron silang opinion. Kapag tinanong mo sila, bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng oil price hike? Definitely alam nila yung sagot. Forex exchange, ano sa tingin niyo yung pwedeng gawin para maging competitive ulit ang peso kontra dolyar? They can easily or they can instantly give answers to that. Or suggestions, maybe. Kasi nga they are engaged. They can see all of this na nangyayari. Even the latest news, updated sila. Dati, nakakabalita lang tayo every time we watch the evening news and when we watch the morning news. Right now, pagkalabas ng balita, in a span of minutes, alam na agad nila kung ano yung nangyari. Kasi, they follow different news outlets in their social media accounts. Alam nila kung ano nangyayari sa drug war, alam nila kung ano nangyayari sa crime, sa sunod-sunod na kidnapan, yung mga abuse, violence, they know all of those kasi may access sila sa mga different news outlets. And halos lahat ng mga newspapers, televisions, meron na silang, lahat sila meron ng online page. So, syempre ito, masyado tong seryoso. Dito naman tayo sa medyo tabu pagdating sa mga teachers and as much as possible, iniiwas natin yung mga students natin. Ito yung puppy love. I think you're all aware with puppy love, hindi ba? Yung mga crushes nila, when they talk about love life, about future. Ito din yung time kung saan hindi dapat tayo mailang na ipagawa to sa mga students natin kasi dito nila mas mai-express yung sarili nila kasi they are all developing. Pagpasok niya ng puberty, pagpasok niya ng puberty, nagkakaroon na yan ng mga crush, di ba? Nagkakaroon na yan ng mga crush ko si ganito, crush ko si ganyan. Mas madali nilang maiintindihan yung mga bagay kung hahayaan natin silang i-express yung mga sarili nila into writing. And tayo, bilang mga teachers na makakabasa ng essays na isusulat nila, mas madali sa atin yung guidance. Kasi kita natin, ay nako, nai-inlove na itong aking isang estudyanteng ito. Malalaman mo kung kailangan mo na ba siyang bigyan ng gabay, or kung kailangan mo lang siyang suportahan at hayaan, mas madali kang makakapag-advise sa kanya. Kasi mahirap mag-advise sa isang tao na advice ka naman ng advice, hindi naman pala siya nakaka-relate sa advice mo. Kasi nanguhula ka lang kung ano yung pinagdadaanan niya. So mostly, ito yung mga pinagdadaanan ng mga middle elementary students and ng mga high school students natin. And syempre, ito, marami pa ring mga engaged dito ng mga bata. Yung mga celebrity crushes nila, why not we integrate it in their writing? Hindi masama, hindi ba? Hindi masama na pag-usapan nila sino-sino ba 'yon? Bakit ba nila iniidolo? Why not we let them express themselves kung bakit nila gusto itong taong ito. Ano-ano nga bang mga katangian na nakita nila sa mga taong ito? Kasi definitely kapag ang isang bata, lalo lang ang babae na teenager, kapag nagka-crush yan sa isang artista, talagang ni-stalk niya ng malala. Sobra siya kung mag-stalk na inaalam niya kung ano yung height, kung ilang taon, kung saan nag-aral, ganun siya. Kung ano yung mga hobbies, interest. Why not we let them write about that one na para malaman natin na, okay, so ganito pala yung qualities na gusto niya. And why not, baka dito din mag-lead yung magiging, yung gusto nila in the near future. And lastly, we have culture and tradition. Maganda din na ma-integrate ito na mapag-usapan nila ano bang ginagawa sa kanilang maliit na pamayanan. Ito naman ay para sa mga small areas natin. Ano ba yung mga ginagawa sa kanilang munting pamayanan na kailangang malaman ng mga tao? Ano bang meron sa kanilang pangkat, sa kanilang wika, sa kanilang lengguwahe? Kasi hindi to masyado din na pag-uusapan. Yung mga usually, mga topics na to sa college. Pero may mga alam na din yung mga high school and elementary students natin. Pagdating dito, yung simpleng fiesta, anong ginagawa kapag fiesta, anong ginagawa kapag may selebrasyon, kapag may ipagdiriwang sila. Mahalaga din na ma-expose. And ito, maganda din na makita natin yung perception ng bata pagdating sa kanilang sariling culture, sa kanilang sariling tradition. Like, how do they celebrate Christmas? How do they celebrate Valentine's Day? Or meron ba silang ibang celebration na ipinagdiriwang? Anong ginagawa nila doon? Maybe may pwede tayong mapulot or makuha doon. So, yun. And in conclusion, from the very beginning of my presentation, I keep on reiterating, paulit-ulit ko sinasabi, how our students are very much exposed to technology and social media. They can see the news, they can see the society. Their exposure to knowledge and facts is indeed unlimited. So now, it's about time that we, teachers, educators, should go with them in the flow. With their flow, we should know their wants, their interests, and desires. How? Through writing. So we need to engage our students in an activity that will help them discover themselves, their beliefs and interests. And as teachers, we should be there to guide them, to help them, and to support them. I know that if we all work together in achieving this goal, we can make all these things happen. So, yun lamang po at maraming salamat.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Now we will proceed na po to the question and answer portion. And so for our first question is from Saranghe. Good day, sir. Paano po masisiguro na yung bata ang gumawa ng essay at hindi yung parents nila? There are times kasi kapag pina-homework mo, magulang ang gumagawa.
Actually, ma'am, totoo talaga to. Kasi lalo na yung situation natin right now, which is online and modular, lalo na nung nag-pandemic, may mga instances talaga na napaka-ikli na ng pasensya ng mga parents natin, na ayaw na nilang ituro, hindi na lang nila ituturo kasi mas pipiliin nila na ako na lang ang gagawa, sasakit pa ang ulo ko. So, paano natin to masisiguro na sila yung gumawa? I think, ako, ang ginagawa ko sa class ko talaga is during online synchronous engagements, naglalaan talaga ako ng time para sa kanila na matutukan at makita sila on how they write. Kasi ngayon naman na nag-shift na tayo ngayon na nag-shift na tayo sa limited face-to-face to full face-to-face setup, mas madali natin silang mamomonitor and mas madali na din yung access sa atin para makita kung sila ba talaga yung ginagawa. Why not? Ilang beses ba tayo nagko-conduct ng classes sa isang linggo? So in elementary schools, we conduct classes 5 times a week, di ba? Ang isang subject 5 times a week. Why not we allot a period or a 2 para tutukan or tingnan natin sila, writing class kumbaga, para makita natin at matutukan din natin yung mga students natin. And siguro maganda din siya na breather pagdating dun sa mga lessons na binibigay natin dun sa mga students natin dun sa buong linggo. Yun po.
All right, thank you po, sir. And then the last question po for this afternoon from Shamyu po. What are the styles or the style guides that you could share with the audience though, or with them?
I think yung pinakang best na style guide na pwede nating magamit when it comes to writing, yung nakikita ko na very fitting for all grade levels across elementary until college is dalawa. The first one is yung color coding technique nga. Yung kanina, like we label ano yung main idea, supporting details, and then yung iba pang parts na gusto nating makita. Well, we are free kung ano yung gusto nating ilagay doon. And then, yun yung una. Yung pangalawa naman, as I see it, is yung concept mapping. Kasi mas magiging malaya yung pag-iisip ng students natin kung ano yung dapat nilang ilagay. Kasi when they do concept maps, hindi naman necessarily na lahat ng inilagay nila dun sa concept map is yun yung gagamitin nila or yun yung isusulat nila. Pwede din silang magtanggal dun para kumbaga makita din nila kung saan ba sila dapat mag-focus. So yun yung pinakang dalawa para sa akin na the best na pwede natin gamitin na technique when it comes to teaching writing.
Okay, that's all for the questions we have for now po, sir. Any last reminders to our viewers for today?
Last reminders lang for our viewers is wag nating susukuan yung mga students natin when it comes to language teaching, lalo na doon sa mga English teachers natin. English and Filipino teachers. Kasi itong nag-pandemic, napakaraming naging obstacles. Like pre-pandemic, kita natin na napakababa na ng literacy rate natin when it comes to reading and writing. And mas lalo, I think, kung mababa na pre-pandemic, mas bumaba pa siya ngayon. Kasi kung noon, malaki na ang percentage ng non-readers na gumagraduate ng grade 6 or nagpo-progress ng grade 2 and above, siguro mas malaki na ngayon. So sa atin, ang mapapayo ko, ang pinakang reminder lang na maiiwan ko sa kanila, is habaan natin yung pasensya natin para sa mga bata. Dahil in the near future, tayo din naman yung magbe-benefit dito dahil mas magaguide at matutulungan natin sila. Yun po, thank you.
There we have it. In behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this eye-opening and insightful learning session. It is an honor to have you with us. And to all our Kavibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. The link is in the caption of this webinar. We encourage you also to subscribe and watch on our official Vibal Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw sa ating lahat.